Hello friends, good morning. I am Aryan Garud, working as assistant professor in Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering. Today we are going to discuss the concept of planning. The planning has been defined as the process of thinking through and implementing a set of appropriate actions to achieve some goals. Planning generally includes action and design to solve problem in the future. As per the Oxford Dictionary of Geography, it defines it as planning prepossesses an upper ability to foresee events and capability for analyzing situations and solving problems. For the overall development of any region, planning is an important requirement. The basic purpose of planning is to achieve definite target and objectives within specified period of time. The economists and other social scientists as well as researchers pursued the process of planning in different ways. So they suggest a set of prerequisites of successful planning like existence of central planning authority, strong and efficient government, honest and sound administration, fixation of objective and target, adequate statistical data, well formulated and integrated plan, socialistic economic organization, mobilization of financial resources, flexibility in planning, public cooperation, economic control, maintenance of power balance, proper development policy, economy and administration, proper education, and the theory of consumption. So planning is primarily a way of thinking about social and economic problems. Planning is oriented predominantly towards the future and is deeply concerned with the relation of goals to collective decisions and strives for comprehensive in policy and programs wherever these modes of thought are applied. There is a presumption that planning is being done. Planning is a continuous movement towards desired goal, and because of this, all major decisions has to be made by agencies informed of those goals and the social purpose behind them. Even in considering a 5-year period, forward and long-term planning has always to be kept in view. Indeed, perspective planning is the essence of planning process. As this process develops, there is a certain rhythm of expansion in the development of the people, and a sense of enterprise and achievement comes from them. They are conscious of a purpose of life and have a feeling of being participant in the making of history. In this slide we are going to see the types of planning. So planning can be classified on the basis of different criteria as discussed below. The planning are of following types, that is non-spatial and spatial planning, then sectorial planning, then physical and economic planning. Next is imperative and indicative planning, then centralized and decentralized planning, then single and multi-level planning, allocative and innovative planning, short-term and long-term planning. So these are all types of planning. After seeing the types of planning, we are going to see one by one, that is non-spatial and spatial planning. In case of non-spatial planning, it includes those in which spatial dimensions are not explicit, such as national economic planning, family planning, energy and social planning. However, all of them, when applied uniformly in all parts of a country, can generate geographic effects. Spatial planning is defined as the one in which geographic dimension is explicit. So then we are going to see the sectorial planning. The sectoral planning is essentially a non-spatial planning concerned with the development of various sectors of economy such as agriculture, industry, etc. The kind of planning lacks an integrated structure and may thus lead to social and human problems like environmental pollution, increasing inequality and mass poverty, resulting in spatial imbalances. Sectoral development can be implemented within a spatial framework according to the specific requirement of the different spatial units, which may differ from each other in terms of physical, economic, social and cultural conditions. The sectoral development may not be achievable if due attention is not given to the regional characteristics and specialization. Then the next type of planning is physical and economic planning. The physical planning involves the planning of an area's physical structure, that is land use, communication, utilities, etc. Whereas the economic planning is concerned more with the economic structure of an area and its overall prosperity, mainly in terms of population, income, purchasing power, etc. Then we are going to see the imperative and indicative planning. Imperative planning is a type of planning where all economic activities and resources of the economy operate under the direction of state. On the other, when the mainstream of economic growth is left to the private sector, it may be called indicative planning. Then centralized and decentralized planning. Centralized planning is based on the top-down approach where a central authority is the supreme decision-making body. The entire planning process is based on bureaucratic control and regulation, whereas decentralized planning is based upon the bottom-up approach. Under it, a plan is formulated by the central planning authority in consultation with the different administrative units of the country. The state plans incorporate district and village level plans which are formulated at the respective levels. So in this slide we are going to see single and multi-level planning. Single and multi-level planning is done at the national level alone is termed as single level plan, but its formulation at several hierarchical stages is called multi-level planning. Then allocative and innovative planning. Allocative planning is concerned with coordination, the resolution of conflict, ensuring that the existing system is taking over efficiency through time in accordance with evolving policy. Whereas innovative planning is concerned with improving, developing the system as a whole. It is known as development planning. In this slide we are going to see short-term and long-term planning. So in case of short-term planning is designed to solve certain pressing problems which do not require large-scale change in the social and economic order. It may be used to increase production and employment opportunities, to adjust production to market demand and supply, and to meet the targets set by long-term plans. Long-term planning, sometimes erroneously called perspective planning, aims at the institutional and structural changes necessary for achieving the long-term social and economic goals of the society. Then we are going to see the concept of regional planning. The regional planning is a process of orderly and systematic anticipation of the future of a region, involving recommendation of the necessary remedial and constructive actions by public and private agencies to achieve the objective of the plan. Regional planning may involve extensive areas that include one or more regions or more limited areas such as drainage basins. Then the regional planning is a branch of land use planning and deals with efficient placement of land, use activities, infrastructure and settlement growth across a significantly larger area of land than an individual city or town. Regional planning addresses problem of economic, social and political transformation at geographic scales. Since the independence, the need for regional planning has arisen from changing social and economic phenomena affecting local communities and regions throughout the country. Further, regional planning is a spatial development planning which tends to utilize the natural and human resources to the fullest extent for the enrichment of the quality of life of its population and to distribute the gain of development among the regions and groups within the regions, thereby minimizing socio-economic imbalance and improving living condition of the masses. Then we are going to see what is the concept of development. So generally the development is defined as the gradual advancement or growth through a series of progressive changes. It is a process to achieve certain goal. Development is not purely an economic phenomena but rather a multidimensional process involving reorganization and reorientation of entire economic and social system. It helps in improving the quality of human lives. The planning process and developmental activity in the country have covered more than 50 years. The impact of developmental activities cannot be evaluated fully by any single indicator because it is a multidimensional process. Moreover, a number of indicators, when analyzed individually, do not provide an integrated and easily comprehensible picture of reality. Further, development may either be natural or planned. When development is achieved with normal ongoing activities of the region, it is termed as normal or natural state of development, while desired level of change attained due to planned efforts may be termed as a regional development planning. Development is the function of planned efforts for the improvement of the region. In common usage, development has the implication of economic growth, modernization, improvement in the levels of material production and consumption, and change in social, cultural, and political structure to resemble more nearly those displayed in countries of economic demand developed. Further, development is a process of qualitative and quantitative growth of the social and economic reality, which we can call either society or economy. Because of close interrelation of economic and social elements, no purely social or purely economic development is possible. It is a single process which is best called simply development. Development refers to improvement of all the sectors in the economy: agriculture, industry, transport, communication, and so on. Therefore, in order to make a meaningful study of difference in inter-regional level of development, one should take into consideration various physical indicators reflecting or measuring various sectorial level of development, and combining all the sectoral indices together, one can measure the overall level of development. Then we are going to see the socio-economic development. Socio-economic development refers to the ability to produce an adequate and growing supply of goods and services productively and efficiently, to accumulate capital, and to distribute the fruits of production in a relatively equitable and accessible manner. In other words, it is defined as social and economic transformation, planned or otherwise, that tend to increase social welfare or well-being, material or spiritual, enjoyed by the citizen of that country. Social development refers to the complexity of social dynamics, that is, this inter-display of social structure, process, and relationship, and focuses on the social concern of the people as objective of development and people-centered participatory approaches to development. Then in economic development is a process of raising the level of prosperity through increased production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. Further, regional planning is a spatial development planning which tends to utilize the natural and human resources to the fullest extent for the enrichment of the quality of life of its population, and to distribute the gain of development among the regions and groups within the regions, thereby minimizing socio-economic imbalance and improving living condition of the masses. Then education. Education has been given an honored place in Indian society. The role of education in facilitating social and economic progress is well recognized. In the post-independence period, a major concern of the government of India and the states has been to give increasing attention to education as a factor vital to the national progress and security. Problem of educational reconstruction were reviewed by several commissions and committees, notably the University Education Commission in the year 1948 to 49 and the Secondary Education Commission in the year 1952 to 53. Then we are going to see the implementation of 5-year plan in India. Then the next type of planning is physical and economic planning. The physical planning involves the planning of an area's physical structure, that is land use, communication, utilities, etc. Whereas the economic planning is concerned more with the economic structure of an area and its overall prosperity, mainly in terms of population, income, purchasing power, etc. Then during second 5-year plan, 2 surveys were conducted in context with regional planning, namely by pilot regional survey of Mysore state during 1956 to 58 and diagnostic survey of Damodar Valley region in the year 1957 for making an appraisal of existing resources and suggesting strategies for regional development. During this time, intensive area development program was launched in 1960 in 7 selected districts of 7 states. In 1956, L1 committee recommended the approach for tribal areas. Consequently, in 1957, Tribal Development Block (TDP) approach was adopted. Due to wide regional disparities in India, the planners emphasized on the balanced regional development ever since the initiation of planning process in India, and pursued that the pattern of investment must be devised as to lead balanced regional development. Then in the third 5-year plan, that is 1961 to 66, for the first time some serious concern has been expressed to the problem of balanced regional development. This plan devoted a separate chapter 26 to balanced regional development. It was once again emphasized that balanced development of different parts of the country, extension of benefit of economic progress to the less developed regions, and widespread diffusion of industries are among the major aims of plan development. The approach in this plan was to help the states in reducing interstate disparities, initiate new program and extend program adopted in the previous plans to reduce interstate inequalities. The 3-tier administration was developed during the plan, such as Panchayat at village level, Panchayat Samiti at the block level, and Jilla Parishad at the district level were actually meant to be associated with plan formulation. Then 4th-year plan witnesses an introduction of a number of schemes for the benefit of rural poor, such as Small Farmers Development Agency, Marginal Farmer and Agricultural Labor Development Agency, Drought Prone Area Program, Cash Scheme for Rural Development, Pilot Intensive Rural Development Program, Integrated Tribal Development Program. Since a large number of rural poor live in relatively less developed regions, all these programs were expected to benefit the less developed regions in comparison with the developed region for the purpose of granting concession and financial assistance to industries established in such areas and weightage to backward states in the allocation of central assistance. In this plan, the multi-level planning was started, stressing the formulation of plan at a district and lower level to provide adequate infrastructure facilities. Then we are going to see the implementation of 5-year plan in India. Then 5-year plan during 1980 to 85 placed a great emphasis to provide an integrated approach to the problems of regional inequalities. The mechanism of area planning was adopted. In this plan, special importance was given to follow the decentralized planning for eliminating inter and intra-district socio-economic imbalances. Then the next type of planning is physical and economic planning. The physical planning involves the planning of an area's physical structure, that is land use, communication, utilities, etc. Whereas the economic planning is concerned more with the economic structure of an area and its overall prosperity, mainly in terms of population, income, purchasing power, etc. So in this slide we are going to see single and multi-level planning. Single and multi-level planning is done at the national level alone is termed as single level plan, but its formulation at several hierarchical stages is called multi-level planning. Then 12th 5-year plan, it was carried out during 2012 to 2017, seeks to fulfill faster, sustainable and more inclusive growth. It emphasizes on the inclusiveness of poverty reduction, inclusiveness of group equality, regional balance and inequality, inclusiveness as empowerment and inclusiveness through employment programs. It also states that the interstate and intrastate disparities are a major source of concern for faster and more inclusive development at national level. Then the regional planning is